We're working across Scotland and beyond in the criminal justice system, trying to affect change at multiple levels, not just with individuals involved in the criminal justice system directly, but also with families affected by crime and punishment and communities. And we're doing that through the arts. We do things like songwriting.
So in the Distant Voices project, the songs that are co-written, we take them to all sorts of different public events. And what we're trying to do then is expose those audiences to the human stories that are contained and reflected within the songs. And we think that what that's doing is that it's deepening people's appreciations of the complexities of the challenges that people in criminal justice face.
The first things I'll do when I get home: 1, be kind to myself. 2, take a deep breath. 3, take my shoes off and feel the grass under my feet. 4, check the weather. 5, check I have tea bags and milk and bread and proper butter. Toilet paper too. No, probably. 1, learn the terms of your licence off by heart. 2, get all those documents together. 3, keep your head down. 4, avoid certain places and certain people. 5, get all those documents together.
Every Tuesday night we get together here in Glasgow and have dinner together and make creative work together. We've made a community that looks out for each other, that supports one another. We find that those kind of ways of bringing people together allow folks to see each other's humanity.
In Scotland, if you serve a prison sentence of longer than 4 years, you would come out under a parole licence or what's called a non-parole licence. They have similar effects. They mean that you have to see a social worker regularly, and that social worker should be able to provide you with some support and assistance, but they also have the obligation to supervise you and to manage and assess risks. And the problem with that system is that it means that if you're dealing with somebody who you think is looking for warning signs, then it's very hard for you to come forward with problems. On the other hand, if you're released from a sentence which is shorter than 4 years, there's no post-release supervision or support, except that which is provided by third sector organisations and charities.
Many of the people that we've got to know through our work have faced significant challenges in finding a way forward after they have a criminal conviction and have particularly served a sentence. Some of that is about the complex systems that you have to navigate to comply with a licence that you might return home with, when your life at that point is thrown into real turmoil because you have you've spent so much time away and things have changed and you're just trying to navigate the day to day, but there's a lot of official expectations upon you.
You end up with people in a kind of Kafkaesque nightmare where help is theoretically available but practically unreachable. This particular paper, it's basically a work in progress paper that reflects on what we are learning about trying to create practices of hospitality in a system which is more associated with hostility. In the paper we use the idea of the hostile environment which the UK Home Office created for migrants, they would have said for illegal migrants. And we see a parallel in that with the way in which political and media discourses about crime and punishment create and fuel hostility towards people who are coming through the criminal justice system. And we would argue that as a matter of justice, those people have served their sentences, paid their debts, and they are entitled to be restored in some sense into our communities, their communities, and into our society. And one of the things that the Distant Voices project does as a whole is try to flip the narrative about rehabilitation and say that it's not just about a person being made ready to return, it's about everybody being ready to receive them. And that second part of the process of reintegration has been neglected by policymakers, by practitioners, and we would argue by the whole system, and that's fundamentally what we think needs to change.
We really want to spark imagination and enthusiasm and ideas across Scotland and beyond, where folks might be able at a local level to do what they can do.
It's about challenging people everywhere to think about the extent to which communities of interest or clubs or organisations or professions or activities that they're involved in, are they accessible to people who have this experience.
Distant Voices is going to be hosting a festival here in Glasgow on the 16th and 17th of April, and we're going to be exploring the theme that we've been discussing here, coming home. It's something that we would invite everyone to come along to.